This old house was a crumbling underneath a painted sky, when the real thing is out there waiting. It's deep and wide as it is high. From this dry world you can hear the river running by. Love is trying to make it easy, giving it away free. We want to pay. Love is sitting on a fingertip, waiting on the edge of our lips. We don't know what to say. Don't give up on us. Don't give up on us, love. From where I stand and what I know, you should be a stranger at my door. But the part I'm playing made me weary. I don't want to be that, no, not anymore. And I never knew just who it was I was playing it for. Love is trying to make it easy, giving it away free. We want to pay. Love is sitting on our fingertips, waiting on the edge of our lips. We don't know what to say. Don't give up on us. Oh, don't give up on us. Oh, I belong to you like you belong to me. Let it be the truth, solid as the earth, anchor in our feet. My freedom is in you. Well, this moment might be perfect underneath a painted sky. Love is trying to make it easy, giving it away free. We want to pay. Love is sitting on our fingertips, waiting on the edge of our lips, and we don't know what to say. Don't give up on us. Don't give up on us. Don't give up on us. Don't give up on us,
Our reading is an excerpt from a Dharma talk given by Amana Bembry Johnson, who is a meditation teacher from multiple spiritual traditions and part of the African diaspora, and one of the core teachers at the East Bay Meditation Center in Oakland, and a coordinating teacher at Spirit Rock Meditation Center. Her words: I'm a grandmother of 13, and I have 3 great-grandchildren. My oldest granddaughter is 32, and I cannot believe it. Time has just flown by, so if she's 32, what does that make me? Old. It happened like that. Very precious time here, in this earth body, in this borrowed body. She says the body is earth itself, a temporary convergence of earth, an embodied gift of earth that has been miraculously on loan to us for a short time until it's composting. And that composting will bring forth new life. She goes on, these are not metaphors. This body is borrowed earth, and we are miracles of earth that walks and moves. The body rises and falls. It heals and it breaks. It ages and it dies. And it composts and brings forth new life. She says that's a beautiful cycle when you think of the rainforest and how things grow and fall to the ground and create rich and fertile soil and all the beauty that arises from that. That's what we are. The earth in us and around us is not separate. The same minerals in our bones live in the mountains. The same iron in our blood was forged in the stars. We are not just on the earth, moving on the earth. We are earth. We are nature. We are being asked to remember that the body is earth, and no child, no river, no forest is separate from what we are. This is the law of sacred interdependence. Remember that the body is earth, that the earth is body. This is the truth of our embodiment of this earth walk. So, I am both very much a nature person and also not a nature person. I love hiking. I hate mosquitoes or really anything that's trying to bite me for my blood. I love the beach. I really don't like seeing jellyfish in the ocean. I love getting a farm share of vegetables every week to cook with from a local farm, and I hate taking out the compost. Dear friends moved to Western Mass and live at the very, very end of a dirt road. They told me, we are end of the dirt road people. This is where we want to live, closer to the land. We love visiting the city, but we are end of the dirt road people. And I said, aha, I am a city person who likes to visit my friends who live at the end of dirt roads. A few weeks ago, I had the huge privilege of attending a meditation retreat in northern New Mexico with the theme of being nature. And Amana Bembry Johnson, whose words I just read, was one of the teachers. The Dharma talk that I shared was given in the middle of a ponderosa pine forest, a short walk from the Continental Divide Trail, and hours from cell phone service. It was really special to me. And despite what one may think about ministers, I don't actually meditate regularly, and I'm very much an amateur when it comes to meditation, Buddhist teaching, things like multi-day silent retreats without cell service. And though I picked the particular section mostly based on my schedule and not the teachers or the topics, I found myself very compelled by the teaching that we are nature, not as a metaphor, that we are literally part of nature and made of earth, despite all of the complicated illusions that might make it seem different. We as humans, like all growing things, have seasons of rest, beginning, maturation, death, new life. We, like all growing things, require certain nourishment to thrive. We, like all growing things, are miracles in our existence. As many of you know, I'm an immigration justice organizer as well as a Unitarian Universalist community minister. And on a call recently with folks doing anti-deportation work across the country, we asked folks to share one way they were connecting with nature, one way they were touching grass, as we say. The reflections poured in from people who have very little time right now and often don't answer the introduction question that I ask them to. Swimming, watering houseplants, feeling the sun on our face, camping, looking at mountains, watching grandkids play in the sprinkler. Just reminded me what is so trite but also true, that nature does something that nothing human-made can do. Heals, grounds, is a balm for hurting hearts. And also, nature is very fraught. Many of us grow up without the resources or experiences to access nature in a safe and joyful way. Experiences in nature can be expensive with specialized equipment and knowledge and language that prevent people from accessing nature equitably. Some of us may just not be here for the mosquitoes and the getting dirty. Maybe we don't even want to visit our friends who live at the end of dirt roads. Or maybe we grew up with too much nature on farms or in rural areas, or forced to contend with wildlife or diseases or hardships from living close to the land that we had no choice in. And then there's the concept of nature being something without humans. In colonial times, artists contributed to the imagination of nature as something without people, painting landscapes of everywhere from this United States to the continent of Africa as devoid of the indigenous peoples who were interdependent with the land. And the creation of conservation areas across the world is often controversial, displacing people who have long lived with and on that land, may depend on it for survival so that other people can use the land for recreation. And despite all of the layers of complexity and fraughtness and the many terrible flybites I got while living mostly off-grid in northern New Mexico for a few days, there is still some very deep wisdom for me about this reminder that we are made of nature, not just living on the earth, made from it. I was not able to attend most of our Unitarian Universalist Association's annual, semi-annual in-person General Assembly gathering in June, but I did listen to part of one of the worships between putting my toddler to bed. And the part that stayed with me was a reading about trees. If you were there, maybe you heard it in person. It was about the trees that had been living in Hiroshima when the atomic bomb was dropped by the United States. The devastation, of course, unimaginable. And yet, ginkgo trees, one of the oldest species of trees, survived. They survived because though the trees seemed to die and burn at the surface, there were deep, deep roots that survived the explosion and radiation exposure. And those trees birthed new trees. And those descendant trees live on today and are planted across the world. Amana says, the earth is in us, around us, is not separate. We are not just on the earth, we are earth. I remember my child's second night on earth outside the womb, holding her so tiny in the quiet, glowing lights of the hospital room overlooking the Charles River. I burst into tears, a sudden realizing of what I had always known to be true, but was feeling in my earth body for the first time. That not only would my life end one day, that I knew, but that this tiny, fresh, just born, brand new life that my life had made, her life would end one day too. Even a brand new baby is only earth walking around briefly, an embodiment of the gift of earth that has been miraculously on loan to us for a short time. Dust to dust, as Christians sometimes say, stardust to stardust, as scientists sometimes say. Or as the poet Andrea Gibson, who died of ovarian cancer in recent weeks, wrote, "Why did no one tell us that to die is to be reincarnated in those we love while they are still alive?" They wrote, "My love, I want to sing it through the rafters of your bones. Dying is the opposite of leaving. I am more with you than I ever was before." Many of us dwell with death too much. We are very aware of our own dying, composting bodies, our own sickness and age, or we are caring for or loving others as they experience death and dying. We live in constant awareness of the human-made death of our time. People losing lives to lack of health care and health insurance, to reproductive injustice, to anti-trans hate, to genocide, to so many other injustices. There's this kind of stereotype that dominant US culture doesn't deal well with death or is death denying. And I have to say, that doesn't really feel quite true. If you turn on the evening news, it seems like death is everywhere. So I don't feel like we are not aware of death, most of us. But perhaps some of you, like me, feel like often, even when I lose a loved one, I only have the time or bandwidth to register one or two or a few days of loss, not to begin to feel, to let grief grieve. Amana shared as part of that Dharma talk that the body is not a possession. We don't own it. She says something that's challenging to me, that there's a beauty in that. That many times it's hard to let go of our composting body and move on to a new stage because we are grasping, craving, or clinging, which is the cause of suffering. Maybe some of you are Buddhists in your own practice or scholars of Buddhism. I am not. And I will say that I am one who is prone to clinging. And despite that great wisdom, I'm sort of pro-clinging and fighting for a good and thriving life for myself and the people of this world, at least for now. And yet, especially when there is so much to mourn, the reminder that we are not actually separate from earth, that our bodies don't even have to return to nature in a certain way because we are nature, is a comforting and moving one. Some of you know that in 2018 I chose to have an abortion, and I remember, despite my clarity about the rightness of that choice for me at that time, I still wondered, where did that beginning go? Where did the cells that held in them so much possibility end up? And I was comforted by the reminder that nothing is ever destroyed, that everything that made up that beginning is still here in some form. These are words from Shinzo Hamai, the first mayor of Hiroshima after the atomic bombing, reflecting on the role of those trees that survived. Less than a year after the destruction, spring had pushed up a green shoot through the A-bomb desert, where rumor held that nothing would grow for 75 years. The powerful emotion stirred by a little sign of life would be hard for anyone to understand who is not an A-bomb survivor or a Hiroshima resident. Our expressions brightened, our steps quickened in response to more than just the seasonal change. Nature comes in so many forms. I'm sure we all have lots of ways we've interacted, maybe with awe and joy, or maybe with fear or distrust with nature. The shade I'm so grateful for on these warm days when I jog along my neighborhood bike trail comes mostly from invasive trees. The water that is the majority of this planet and that is also life, we know can also destroy life, is the majority of my own and my child's body and yours and all of ours. There's nothing like a off-grid meditation retreat where you are using outhouses to go to the restroom and have to walk uphill at elevation to get to your cabin to remind me that I am an animal driven by basic needs and desires that sweats and gets tired and rests and wakes again. I take solace in the reminders that this body is an earth body, that I am not separate from nature, but part of it. The list of the other trees besides the ginkgo that survived the nuclear bombing is so much longer than I thought. Weeping willow, black locust, fig tree, bamboo, azalea, hemp palm, Japanese persimmon, cherry tree, tree peony, sago palm, Japanese apricot, Japanese quince. The list goes on. I cannot imagine surviving a nuclear bomb, and I cannot imagine being part of the same nature as the plants who survived a nuclear bomb. But I am, and you are, and we all are. And when I cannot imagine surviving something, whether it's the fascism of this current moment here in the US, or the devastating loss of loved ones that comes with being alive, I remember that somehow, in this miraculous, borrowed body, earth walking around briefly, moving around briefly, I am. The ginkgo trees, like the ones that survived Hiroshima, can live to be up to 3,000 years old. They are the oldest surviving species of a lineage that has remained mostly unchanged for 200 million years. They will outlive my borrowed earth body and that of my daughter and many human generations. I and all of us will forever be part of that earth, now and forever, regardless of our attitude toward mosquitoes or dirt roads. We are made of earth. May it be so, and amen.
mountain